category is CoverGirl Realness. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things you didn't know about RuPaul. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking back to Ru's roots to find all the factors that give him his charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. We're basing our picks on a mix of the unexpected, the effect they had on his career, and just how much each entry shaped Mama Ru into the queen we know and love today. Number 10, RuPaul is his real name.
He said, RuPaul, that's my real name, RuPaul, don't take life so seriously. And Bonnie, it was the best lesson I've ever gotten in my entire school life.
Even though RuPaul seems unique enough to be a stage title, it's actually been this famous queen's name since birth, as evidence of the fact that his parents were about as Louisianan as they come. Ru claims to have been named after gumbo. Roux, spelled R-O-U-X, is a lard and flour mix that serves as the base of gumbo.
So roux is what you start a gumbo with. You start a gumbo with roux. It's basically lard and flour and seasoning. So that's how the roux part came, and she wanted, yeah. So
what a way to name a child.
Well, we're talking about hillbillies, Bonnie, so.
As for Paul, Mama Ru doesn't know where that part of the name came from. RuPaul's mom told him at a young age that he needed a unique name to be famous. To this day, Ru is one of the few drag queens to use his real name on stage.
The Ru you can explain.
The Ru I can explain. I can't explain the Paul, but she did proclaim that I would be famous from a very early age, and that's why I needed a name that was unique.
Number 9, his favorite film is Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
And until then, this is Elvira, the gal who put the boob back in the boob tube.
While Mama Ru isn't known to be a spooky queen, he's talked repeatedly about his love for Elvira's debut movie, following Elvira's goofy adventures through a small town in Massachusetts. The film became a cult classic. RuPaul identified with Elvira's ability to dress up for a living. It would seem that Ru's success has allowed him to connect personally with the idol of his youth, as Elvira has served as a guest judge in episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race and the All-Stars series.
The eternal beauty, Mistress of the Dark, Elvira!
The Mistress of the Dark even made a cameo in the Glamazon music video, along with appearances on Ru's podcast and YouTube series. Number 8, Ru's mom was a foul-mouthed single mother.
My mama, Ernestine, swore like a truck driver. His name is RuPaul Andre Charles, and he's gonna be a star, 'cause ain't another mother alive with a name like that.
RuPaul's endless ability to turn out sayings takes a lot of inspiration from his mother. Toni Charles worked as a clerk at a college registrar's office while raising Ru and his siblings on her own. Toni's habit quickly earned her the nickname Mean Miss Charles. While her dark personality bothered the neighbors, it shaped RuPaul's ability to read people. Ru's mom also taught him how to sew, as well as inspiring his keen sense of fashion.
And my mother was this real punk rock, dark, anti-authority firecracker who cussed like a sailor, but had a really good sense of style.
Like her son, Toni also gave memorable advice, like if they ain't paying your bills, pay them no mind. But, you know, with more cussing.
If they ain't paying your bills, pay them bitches no mind.
Number 7, Ru has a love for cars. Long before RuPaul had even learned to drive, he was in love with everything automobile. As early as 11, Ru claims he would steal his dad's car just to drive around for a bit. He never grew out of it, however, as he now owns 4 cars of his own.
Ever since I was a kid, I would steal my father's car. I was 11 years old.
He drives his beloved red Volvo 240 on his YouTube series RuPaul Drives. Twitter followers may have even noticed RuPaul's tweets about his dream cars, such as a 1970 Benz 280 SL. This passion for cars certainly adds a nice double meaning to the title of his flagship television series, RuPaul's Drag Race.
I have about 4 cars, but if I had more garage space, I would probably have 24.
Number 6, Ru was in a band before going solo.
Here's RuPaul Charles. And here is the U-Haul.
Back in the 80s, before making it big, RuPaul was already pushing the envelope with his music, which was influenced by punk and new wave, among other styles. As a frontman for RuPaul, he was adding an artsy edge to the local music scene with expressive performances and show-stopping costumes, playing with various acts in the Atlanta scene, including the hilariously named RuPaul and the U-Hauls. RuPaul even achieved some early TV exposure thanks to Atlanta's famous American music show. When it came time to bring his rocking past to Drag Race, Mama Ru did it with the help of heroes like Blondie and the B-52s to judge his contestants.
If you see a faded sign at the side of the road that says 15 miles to the
Number 5. He became the first drag supermodel. In the 90s, having already earned themselves a reputation as a progressive makeup company, MAC Cosmetics turned their eyes to RuPaul. In 1994, Mama Ru became not only the first spokesperson for MAC's Viva Glam lipstick line, but also the first face of their brand overall.
I bet you're all wearing MAC, right?
This big opportunity helped solidify Ru's career, making him the first drag supermodel. Helping MAC use a lipstick to raise money for the MAC AIDS Fund, RuPaul was able to support the LGBTQ+ community as well. RuPaul has even tied MAC back into his show, challenging his queens to make their own Viva Glam campaign. Number 4. RuPaul has his own doll. Before RuPaul's Drag Race made him more popular than ever, Ru already had his own toy. Advertised as the first transvestite fashion doll, the limited line was put out by Integrity Toys in 2005. To match Ru's massive height, the doll was 13 inches tall instead of the usual 12 for 6th scale miniatures. The doll features Ru in his most iconic looks, including his dress from the Supermodel video. Mama Ru was picked by doll designer Jason Wu for the line, who labeled the doll 99% plastic and 1% woman. Artist Andrew Yang even made 13 one-of-a-kind dolls for RuPaul's DragCon in 2017. Number 3. He once worked as a used car salesman.
You know, I moved to Atlanta in 1976 with my sister and brother-in-law and went to high school there for a couple of years.
After moving to Atlanta with his sister at only 15 years old, RuPaul was already looking for a steady job. After school, Ru ended up working for his brother-in-law's car brokerage, selling used cars. RuPaul would even drive cars around the country for the business, allegedly crossing the country at least 50 times. Paying the bills while he performed in clubs throughout Atlanta, the job also fed his obsession with cars. Thanks to the constant work, Mama Ru was able to sustain his art until he could move to New York for his big break.
I'm going to take off. I'm going to take off like a stick of dynamite, as a matter of fact.
Number 2. He appeared in Love Shack by the B-52s. Though he's instantly recognized these days, Ru was hard to spot in the mayhem of the Love Shack video. Mama Ru shows up repeatedly for mere seconds, already perfecting his drag persona. RuPaul even doubled as a choreographer, helping the band set up a Soul Train-inspired line dance. The exposure from the video also convinced him to focus on his own music career and cover girl look. The B-52s were a huge inspiration to Ru, and singer Fred Schneider even co-wrote RuPaul's song Stinky Dinky a few years later. Coming full circle, the band eventually appeared as judges on RuPaul's Drag Race for a lip-sync battle to Love Shack. Before we get to our top pick, here are a few fierce honorable mentions.
What's your name, cutie pie?
Tony Boy Whip.
Perfecto.
Number 1. RuPaul released Supermodel on his 32nd birthday. Following Ru's break from band life, he returned with a much more pop sound. When Supermodel You Better Work hit the airwaves back in 1992, it was a huge standout from the alternative rock that had taken over the radio. Surprisingly enough, the track exploded on MTV, holding its own against giants like Nirvana. Kurt Cobain himself even called Supermodel one of his favorite songs.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
The track also gave birth to classic RuPaul sayings like Work and Sashay Shantae. Coming out on Ru's 32nd birthday, the track quickly propelled him to the mainstream attention, from which point his career quickly snowballed.
I have one thing to say.
you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.